See, I obviously, I know, and I'll admit this, I know nowhere near as much about Barcelona as you do, Jack. But I thought Valverde was very, very harshly criticised by Barcelona fans. I thought he won you guys trophies. I thought he was a decent manager. I think he was unfairly hung out to dry.
Well, with Valverde, it's a difficult issue because we have the gift of hindsight and things have got a lot worse since. Although I don't think that had we not got rid of him, things would be any better. And so that's worth remembering. But with him, he started off great in that he was brought in, and the summer he was brought in, Neymar went out the door. And so instantly, that's a big problem. And so people were wondering, okay, who's going to start performing better, Neymar at PSG or Barcelona without Neymar? And Barcelona that season did very well. They almost got an invincible season. They lost one game in their title race, and it was after they'd won the title. So that was the only league game that they lost all season. It was a 5-4 defeat to Levante. It was a crazy game. So that was a decent season. They won the double, the domestic double. They won the Copa del Rey and they won the Liga. But the problem was the Champions League. And this was a consistent problem with Valverde, in that he, in the first leg against Roma, of all teams, who are not a team that should be beating Barcelona, was 4-1 up and then bottled it 3-0 away to get knocked out. So, and instantly everyone was against him after that. And from that point, you have to start doing everything right, when especially at such a demanding club. And he didn't. He only got worse from there. He never got to that same peak that he did in his first season. We all know about what happened at Anfield as well. People forget about the Copa del Rey that happened shortly after that against Valencia. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, Valverde had to go. It's just, it's easy to think, in hindsight, oh, maybe everyone was harsh on Valverde. I mean, admittedly, the problem was rooted deeper than him, as we've seen, but he had to go.
Okay, well, what about, obviously, this is a ridiculous question almost, but what about Quique Setien? Do you think he needed to go when he did?
I think I'm one of the few people to actually defend Quique Setien, because I think he's a fantastic manager.
He's a good man.
Quique Setien, his problem is he's always been at small clubs. So he was at Las Palmas, he was at Real Betis.
He was at Betis, wasn't it? Yeah.
At Real Betis, he was phenomenal at Betis, and he was great at Las Palmas as well. In that he is a Cruyffian purist, so he played the right type of football. His biggest problem is Barcelona needed someone who could control their changing room, because the capitulations in the Champions League were psychological. It had nothing to do with quality. Right, and so they needed someone to come in and almost do what Zidane has done and slap the players around a bit and go, right, you're going to start playing well. In the big games, that is. And Quique Setien, because he'd never managed a big team, couldn't really handle that pressure. And also, he joined, and about probably only a few weeks later, COVID hits, and suddenly all the leagues are suspended. And so he doesn't even get used to the club, and he's got to go and lock himself away in his house. So he joined at the worst possible time. And also, I think that he wouldn't have lost anywhere near as badly against Bayern Munich had there been fans in the stadium. So all of these things just combined to make it impossible for him. And I will defend Quique Setien. It was just the wrong time for him.
Ter Stegen also had an injury at that time.
Ter Stegen was injured in the Bayern Munich game, yeah. But I mean, there's no excuses.
But the media, yeah, definitely. Yeah.